I'm Boston Brian from the Midas Touch Network with some absolutely incredible clips to show you here. Russian state media has once again used Fox News and Tucker Carlson to further its propaganda. Hell, half of the commentators think Tucker does a better job of furthering the propaganda coming out of the Kremlin than they do. Now, we talk a lot here about how Fox News and especially Tucker Carlson spews Russian propaganda that the Kremlin would love the American people to believe, but this is insane. Once again, Russian state propaganda is using Tucker Carlson's words, not only him, but Tulsi Gabbard, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Ron DeSantis, and if you can believe this, Donald Trump, to try to give some sort of legitimacy to the lies and talking points coming straight out of the Kremlin. Now, before I play you these absolutely remarkable clips, I'd like to remind you just where Tucker Carlson lies on this whole Russia-Ukraine battle.
Because people are dying on the front lines. You think it's a joke?
Why do I care? Why do I care what's going on in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia? And I'm serious. Like, why do I care?
Tell you why.
And why shouldn't I root for Russia, which I am?
Because preserving democracy is important. When Dick Cheney said what the Russians did was an attack,
I don't care.
It was a warlike attack on the U.S.
So there you go. Now you know what side Tucker Carlson is on. Listening to that just absolutely makes my blood boil. But when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. All right, so let's get right into this first clip of Russian state media using pro-Putin Tucker Carlson and really pro-Putin Tulsi Gabbard's comments, lies, and propaganda about the United States blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline without any evidence whatsoever to support their claims.
США и НАТО ответственны за этот акт саботажа, акт войны, которым стало разрушение Северного потока. Нам лгут и предлагают этот абсурд. Этим взрывом они создали прецедент. Теперь Россия, Иран, Китай могут разрушить любые объекты инфраструктуры, трубопроводы, кабели связи.
Этот трубопровод служил Германии, которая является ключевым членом НАТО. Мы в НАТО. Мы просто подрываем экономику нашего ключевого партнера. Разве НАТО не должно развалиться после того, что мы сделали?
Вопрос, который дальше эфира этого прореспубликанского телеканала вряд ли пойдет.
Just absolutely disgusting stuff from a well-known U.S. politician and the most viewed cable newscaster in the United States. And did you pick up how the Russian newscaster said that these talking points were unlikely to go any further than this pro-Republican news station? That's because it's bullshit. Because we know that Ukraine needs our assistance. We know that Ukraine is a sovereign nation attacked by a ruthless dictator. Which is exactly why I find it so incredibly frustrating. Not only the amount of Russian propaganda that comes out of the right wing, but the way in which you see it helping Russians further their lies. Which is why I find it so incredibly frustrating that the highest rated news network in the United States spews so much Russian propaganda. Which is exactly why I want to bring back this fantastic piece that Brian Stelter did on CNN, accurately depicting not only the amount of times that Russian propaganda has used not only Tucker Carlson but Fox News and Donald Trump's words to further their agenda, but just how much the Russian propagandists love what Tucker Carlson is saying.
This week, Newsmax ran a cover story titled Vlad the Great, and Tucker seemed to be justifying a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine. Shows across Fox, OAN, and Newsmax keep serving up anti-Biden, pro-Putin messages on the regular. Look at this banner saying Putin just wants to keep his western border secure. We wanted to know what Russian media was saying about all this.
This is the kind of political analysis Russia's state-controlled television apparently likes. The main channel in Moscow putting together this montage of lines from a favorite anchor. Please show us Tucker Carlson, the host says. He's the man laying out all the complaints against President Biden, she explains. But it's his defense of Russia's threat against Ukraine the Kremlin-backed channel now wants to highlight.
Vladimir Putin does not want Belgium. He just wants to keep his western border secure. That's why he doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO. And that makes sense.
It's essentially what the Kremlin says, so no surprise, the studio guests agree. Excellent performance, exclaims this editor of a Russian national defense journal. We can only have solidarity with this view.
Wouldn't it be great if we actually got along with Russia?
For years now, Russia has homed in on controversial praise from the US, including from the former president himself, and often used it to justify its stance at home. Like former President Trump taking the side of Putin over US intelligence agencies on Russia meddling in the US election. Russia denied it. Trump at first agreed.
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
At the time, even Russian TV anchors seemed surprised. where criticism of President Biden is widespread,
There's nothing we could possibly gain from a military confrontation.
and his American critics are held up for praise.
Here's Russian state media giving Governor of Florida Ron DeSantis just an absolute primetime spot, a primetime ad on the nightly Russian news. If this were a campaign and he had to buy time like this would be a really expensive ad in the United States. The sole reason being DeSantis' pushback against Biden on sending weapons to Ukraine and helping Zelensky and the people of Ukraine in any way possible. Here, check out this Russian ad for Ron DeSantis because he calls Joe Biden weak on the global stage.
Тем временем рассуждает, какой будет внешняя политика США после 2024 года. Спрашивают у возможного нового хозяина Белого дома. О президентских амбициях губернатора Флориды Рона Десантиса заговорили после его триумфальной победы на перевыборах в своем штате.
Люди хотят видеть вас на национальном уровне. Они хотят знать вашу позицию по Китаю и в целом по международной политике.
У себя во Флориде мы взялись за китайскую коммунистическую партию. У нас есть целый ряд ограничений. Мы убрали китайские учебные центры из наших университетов. Готовимся принять закон, запрещающий китайским компаниям покупать землю во Флориде.
Журналист The Times рассказал, как пытал на эту тему, возможно, будущего президента.
Я спросил об Украине, и он ответил: есть критика Байдена, и я думаю, что разделяю ее в том смысле, какова наша политика, просто делать все, что хочет Зеленский. Или у нас есть конкретное представление о том, чего именно мы пытаемся достичь. Когда я спрашиваю его, как это должно решаться по-другому, он ссылается на то, что Байден слаб на мировой арене.
По первым опросам Десантис обошел бы Байдена, если выборы проходили сейчас. Но для этого ему еще нужно пройти внутрипартийное республиканское сито, где потягаться придется с Трампом.
And here's a clip of Russian state media praising both Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump for being unsympathetic towards Ukraine. Please note how they amplified Donald Trump's Russian propaganda talking point of giving Ukrainian territory to Russia because people in that territory speak Russian. And if you don't know, it's also a Kremlin-backed talking point that ending this war in 24 hours would somehow be a good thing for both sides. Just think, that's exactly what Russia wants. If this war were to end in 24 hours, everybody would be in the same places and Russia would occupy territory that they did not previously occupy. It's insane.
Одинаково симпатизирует обоим. И также этим двоим не симпатична Украина, доминирующая в американской повестке. 45-й президент в интервью на радио рассказал, как решил бы с Москвой украинский вопрос, если бы снова оказался в Белом доме.
Я мог бы договориться. В худшем случае я мог бы заключить сделку, чтобы передать кое-что. Есть определенные районы, которые являются русскоязычными районами, откровенно говоря, но сделку можно было бы заключить.
Этот фрагмент интервью, где Трамп рассуждает о возможной передаче украинских территорий, в телеэфир уже не вошел. Вырезали. Или журналисты, или пиарщики политика. На то, чтобы определиться с позицией, время есть. Да.
At the same time, this being absolutely crazy that our enemy to the United States is using U.S. news and propaganda to further their agenda, it's very fitting. It is very fitting. We have been talking about this for a long time, how the people on the right are spewing Russian propaganda and Kremlin talking points half the time without even knowing it. At this point, anybody still supporting Vladimir Putin's illegal and brutal invasion of Ukraine after Ukraine signed the Budapest Memorandum, giving up their nuclear weapons in exchange for support and protection from the United States, absolutely 100% does not support democracy, is not a patriot, and does not give a shit about the United States of America. As I'm sure you've probably already noticed, there's absolutely no guessing to what side of this battle I lie on. I am 100% with the people of Ukraine. I am 100% with Volodymyr Zelensky, and I am 100% with the men and women of the armed forces of Ukraine. I support them in this fight 100%. Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank you all for watching. If you think I bring any value to the Midas Mighty family, please leave a comment below. Midas Touch is really close to 1 million subscribers, so if you aren't subscribed yet, please head over there, hit the subscribe button, tell them Boston Brian sent you. Until then, keep telling the truth, keep fighting for democracy, keep holding people accountable. Slava Ukraine.